Welcome back. We are live. Now I'm not. I had some malfunctions last time. I may get some malfunctions again. If I'm moving slow or anything like that, I apologize. Wi-Fi is garbage as of late. But anyway, welcome back to our show, Racing the Races. Like, share, and subscribe. We're on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Oh, and Facebook as well. Yesterday, today's the 12th or the 11th?
12th.
So yesterday was the last day to register to vote. But for those who are registered to vote, you still can request your mail-in ballot. You have up until the 28th of November to do that. You also have early voting starting. Did I say November? No, October 28th. I'm sorry. You have until October 28th to send in your to request your mail-in ballot. I received mine already. I don't know if you got yours yet, Sandra.
I did.
You did. Okay, so I'm filling out mine. I'm going to be mailing it out this week. You can track it on your own, but if you haven't requested, please do so by October 28th. And then early voting starts October 24th. I have the dates, but I gotta look up the pictures. October 24th, that's correct, through November 6th is early voting. You can vote anywhere during early voting. Then obviously November 8th is voting day. You have to vote at your precinct. Wherever your card says you need to go, that's where you need to be. But there's also something else, Sandra. Now you keep reminding me about that. If you have your ballot and you bring it, you cannot bring it at your precincts. You have to bring it down to
the supervisor of elections office.
Right.
So during the early voting period, you can drop off your vote by mail ballot anywhere. But on election day, you can only take it to the supervisor of election office. You can't even drop it off at your precinct. But if you're at your precinct, you can just go ahead and vote. What gets tricky is that sometimes people, because you are allowed to have one other person's ballot. Yes. So like if you have your spouse's ballot and they're not there and you can't drop it off, you can't vote for them. Mm-hmm. And so there might have been a reason why they didn't go that day. So you need to please, if you have your ballots, go ahead and send them out early. Vote early. Don't wait for November 8th, the last opportunity to vote, because anything can happen. So go ahead and vote early. But if on election day, you don't want to go into your precinct, you're going to have to go to downtown Fort Lauderdale. And unless you're already, I think it's either downtown Fort Lauderdale and or Lauderhill.
Yep.
So, but probably going to your place and just standing for a few minutes and vote may be easier than any of those other alternatives. But regardless of what it is, we want you to go vote. So just go ahead and do it. Don't, even if it's an inconvenience, the inconvenience is having people elected that's not doing the people's work. That's a longer inconvenience than whatever time it's going to take you to vote. So we want to strongly encourage it. So I was going to have a coulda, shoulda, woulda moment, and my coulda, shoulda, woulda is like we should have went on live and reminded everybody that it was their last opportunity to register for vote yesterday. We kind of slipped on that. Mm-hmm. My apologies, but we should have did that yesterday because that's so important, right? Yes. But even if you kind of didn't do it, make sure you do it now, so next time you're already ready and you don't have to wait until the last moment to make sure that you vote.
Okay. Absolutely. All right,
so we got a special guest here today.
Yep.
Who do we have? Co-host yesterday. We're gonna let him say his name because I don't want to mess up the doctor's name. So we're gonna
Dr. Kedner Maxime.
Dr. Kedner Maxime. We're gonna let him introduce.
Kedner Maxime.
Yes.
All right.
Go ahead, Dr. Maxime.
Another candidate running, so he will introduce himself. He's running for the city of Oakland Park. So we'll let him introduce himself. Tell the people who you are, who you are first, then what position you're running for, and why you're running.
All right. Well, it's a pleasure to be here. I want to thank you for allowing me to be on your show. And you guys look wonderful. So I'm looking forward to this. I'm Dr. Kedner Maxime. I'm originally from Haiti. Been here for over 41 years. And right now, there was a big disconnect be taking over the kind of people that live in Oakland Park. There was a big disconnect, and still now with the Oakland Park City and the resident, the diverse people that live in there. And since I'm in the business right now, I've been doing it for over 26 years. A lot of church leaders, my client, they all encourage me to run. I'm running because there's issues that need to be resolved, as you know, in the city of Oakland Park, such as, quality housing, homeownership, quality affordable housing, new city program, and quality infrastructure that been issues in Oakland Park. And therefore, I want to run so I can bring innovation and new way of fixing those things. So I'm looking forward for everybody who's watching this show. If you're in Oakland Park, I would like for you to support me to come out, whether by absentee ballot, early voting, or on November to support me. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So we have to tell you, you complimented us for looking good, but I'm gonna tell you, hard work looks good too. And we see you with your campaign shirt on, meaning that you out here working hard. And that's also a very good look. Okay. We respect hard work all day, every day. So hard work looks good. So you look good too, sir. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
All right. So go ahead, co-host.
All right. So you talked about pretty much, you mentioned in your introduction, the number one issue that a lot of folks are dealing with, on no matter what your socioeconomic status level, how much money you make, don't make, housing is a huge problem in South Florida, right? If you're renting, even if it's home ownership, even if you had a mortgage that you could afford and it was okay, all of a sudden your insurance payments went through the roof, and now it's kind of interfering with your ability to afford where you're living. So as a commissioner in the city of Oakland Park, what, if anything, can you do to assist, whether it's renters, homeowners, to deal with the rising costs of living in South Florida?
Well, this is what I'm looking at. This is day one when I get in. What I would like to do is this, because this is a pressing issues right now, and there's no quick solutions. I'm glad you asked me this question. Last night, I had the pleasure to have a forum with my opponents. And to be honest with you, what I heard is that, we're going to run, and if we win the election collectively, we're going to sit on the board and find a solution. That's what I heard them say. But this is what I said, and this is what I will consider. Let's say, for instance, you are a private homeowner or a corporate owner doing real estate. Let's say you own 10 properties, okay? I'm talking on behalf of the city. If you own 10 properties, what I would like to do is to give you the owner the ability to give the renter, or the renter, especially low income or first response people or administrator, 20%, meaning if they own like 10 houses, they will give 20%. That means the city itself will compensate the corporate owner on 20% tax reduction at the end of the year. That way, the rent could be lower for the low income or the first respondent. And as a result of that, everybody went. The city would have a program where we give the owner 20% credit, tax credit, and they will lower the house that they're gonna rent to the low income person, to the individual, and then that way the person who rent gonna benefit from it. The city, it would be good for the city because it will stop this problem, because this is urgent. This is not something, oh yeah, let's fix it in 1 year, let's fix it in 2 years. No, we need something right now. In addition to that, what I would do, I would check in the city record to see if there were some open lots, or maybe a lot that houses that been abandoned, people no longer live in them, and they are available. Maybe they have violation, foreclosure. Then I will seek for developers to really come up with a game plan and to bring those house, how you call it, these people that build house for low income. I think humanity, I'm not sure, I don't remember what it is exactly.
For humanities, is that what you mean? Habitat for Humanities?
Habitat, yes, exactly. And they can come, they use the city will give those lots. Because the reason I'm saying this right now is because right now there is a development in Oakland Park. The median income is between $125,000 to $145,000 to buy a 2-bedroom apartment.
So let me ask you a quick question. So let me understand. Your plan is to if you get elected, your plan is to incentivize investors who have more than 10 properties, and then you also want to bring in developers. And then, are you planning on incentivizing the developers as well?
I think we're having some technical difficulty, but I'm sensing what you said. Yes.
Okay, so you want to incentivize investors by giving them 20% tax break. Is that what you're saying? Are you able to hear me, co-host?
I can hear you, but he's frozen, so he probably can't hear us. Yeah, because you can see that he's frozen. So
I didn't notice that.
Yeah. So on my end, he's frozen. So
yeah, me too. I see
think hey, listen, this internet is a thing.
Yeah, it's garbage.
There's a lot of benefit to it, but there, we run into some issues. Yeah. But what I did hear him say, which is that at least he has a plan. Based on what he was telling us about the event the panel that he participated in, they're like, elect me first, and then I'm gonna figure out what we're gonna do for you. Right. That you don't want. You at least want someone to have an idea of what it is they want to do, can do. And there are times where you may need to flush them out, but at least you're coming in with a plan that seems to benefit everyone. Right. You're gonna because the person is he'll just come back in. So we saw that he was having some technical issues. So he'll come back in. So in the meantime, we'll just talk a little bit about what he already said. You have a plan that the people already own the property, give them a 20% break in order for them to reduce the rent overall for the tenants that they have. And then so the tenant gets something, the county is able to assist, and the developer and the person who already owns the investor already is also getting a benefit from that. So everybody see financial benefits from that particular type of arrangement. So at least that's a plan. And then you try to see what it looks like in practice. And if there needs to be some tweaking or some adjustments to it, it gets adjusted. But at least there's a plan in place, as opposed to like, elect me first, and then we'll figure out, what we're gonna do.
And that's why I was asking him. I wanted to kind of have him expound on what he's trying to say, because I understood what he was saying, but I wanted to make it kind of clearer. If you're an investor, you have 10 properties, you get a tax break. That way, you get some of the savings, and you can pass on the savings to your renters, and then also give investors, not investors, but builders and developers, incentives to come in and try to be able to revitalize. There he is. He's back on. Hi.
Hello. Hi. Yeah, and even with the developers, he talked about private developers, and then he mentioned Habitat. You mentioned Dr. Maxime, if I heard you correctly, you talked about developers, but you also mentioned Habitat for Humanity, which I believe is a nonprofit organization that helps people build homes, and they do it with volunteers. So it sounds like it's a combination of developers that's doing it for profit and nonprofit organizations that's doing it as a service, to help building neighborhoods. And so I think, that works. I don't want to speak for you, but is that what you were saying?
Oh, no, exactly. That's exactly what I was saying. In addition to that, also, there's right now we're running at a low population in Oakland. So what I will do also, I will reach out, especially to the Caribbean community, and teach them about the importance of register for the census, so we can reach that milestone, which is 50,000 people, because right now we're under 50. As a result of that, the federal government, as far as I heard, really do not participate in this gesture of affordable housing. And in addition to that, we will try to get like a voucher also from them. So right now you need $85,000 to qualify to rent a 2-bedroom apartment in Oakland Park. Over $2,600. The voucher will help the renter, cut the cost of the renting price. So there's three things here: corporate office, private investor, private homeowner, to give up part of what they have as far as renter, and then the city will compensate them with a tax credit, and they can use that as a tax deductible on their taxes. In addition, we will do Habitat for Humanity for the low income, and plus the voucher from HUD. That would be like 3 solutions right away.
Okay, and that's all good. But I just want to clarify something. A lot of times when people, when we hear the word low income now, we think we're talking about like poor folks that's probably getting checks from government and all of this kind of stuff. No, low income is people with jobs. So Dr. Maxime just told us that in order to qualify for a 2-bedroom apartment in Oakland Park, your income needs to be $85,000 a year, right? Starting teachers make $47,500 as their starting salary. Attorneys that's working for either the state attorney's office or the public defender's office, their salary is, I think, between $55,000 and $60,000. They are considered low income. These are people that went to college, that got degrees, that have professional degrees, and they will be considered a low income person because you need to make $85,000 a year to rent a 2-bedroom apartment in Oakland Park. And that is not the reality for most working professionals in the city. Okay. So when you hear the word low income, don't always think about the person that's making minimum wage or made some choices in their life that they can't get professional jobs. We're talking about people that went to college, got degrees, postgraduate degrees, and they still ain't making no $85,000 a year to rent an apartment in the city where they sometimes work. So understand that, right? Don't have this misconception that low income is people making minimum wage. Low income is somebody that's a lawyer, a master's degree level educator. It could be, I think principal salaries kind of go about that, but you could have guidance counselors, other administrators that are not making $85,000 to rent a 2-bedroom apartment. So that's that's why this housing issue is something that we got to deal with right now, not next year.
Exactly. Know? In addition to that, because you said that, it's important. We see, I'm having this idea also, where some of, that's one class of low income. But what about the people who's really in the bottom? That means they cannot live in Oakland Park. So therefore, what we need to do, maybe, I think the government right now have some trading program where you can go to school and learn a trade. While you're learning, they can pay you anywhere between $35,000 to $40,000 as you're learning. Then when you get graduated, then you could be making anywhere between $50,000 to $65,000. So that also we need to bring in the city to help the folks in Oakland.
And that's a job of, like, elected officials, right? They really should be there to try to uplift and bring their whole community together, not just there for themselves and the benefits that comes with them being elected officials. And oftentimes they know of all of these different programs, but that message and that information is not communicated to the resident.
Wow.
So I think it's important that, you do have an elected official who's willing to communicate this information to their residents in order to just bring the whole community together. Because like you said, you may have a person who is considered low income, not a professional, maybe doesn't have any skills, but if they're aware of a program like that within whatever amount of time can uplift their whole station, overall that benefits the entire community. So we're here for that, and we're real supportive of anything in that realm. So what's the next issue, co-host, that we want to talk about?
The next issue is this. We can talk about New City program. Okay. We can talk about New City programs. That is where we will have grants, as far as economic development, where you will work. For instance, right now, since the situation with George Floyd, I don't know if you recall that.
Of course, we recall that.
I was in talk with some top bankers, but right now, I don't know. It seems like corporate America feel a little bit guilty. So they are willing, after George Floyd's situation, they are willing to give money to Black business. One thing we don't, I'm not saying we don't have enough, but we can improve it to bring some Black business in the Oakland Park, but not bringing them bare hands. Can you imagine a person like myself, 26 years ago, 2 children, minimum wage was like, what, $8? I was at the supervisor.
26 years ago? I don't know if it was a whole $8.
I don't know. Like $7. Okay, I think we're making a combination here to make it better, but bear with me a second. Look at the microphone. Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's that's when you're doing live and you don't have like a producer. We are our own tech support.
We are.
We're doing this by ourselves.
We doing it, honey. We doing it.
Over.
We're gonna make it work. We're gonna make it do what it do.
Mm-hmm. I think he's on now. Let's bring him back up.
Okay. So
all right.
Where was I? I was at the supervisor position.
New City programs, trying to do some redevelopment.
I was at the supervisor position. I think I was making $26,000 to a year, and 2 kids. You know how many jobs I was making to survive?
Yeah.
3 jobs, and then I want to go to business. The first thing I did, although I was graduate at Nova Southeastern University, I have an associate degree at BCC, Nova, bachelor, things of that nature. They did offer me a job to become a teacher, but I didn't like it because, tie up my time. And I want to go in business. Can you imagine that? Mm-hmm. Making low income, an hourly rate, and then how could I go to a bank and tell them, you know what, I need to borrow some money to open a business? Even if I had, the business plan itself would cost me what? Maybe around $2,000, $3,000 to prepare a business plan. I didn't have a business plan. I had to start from the scratch. When you start earlier, the first thing what I did, I was selling life insurance. And then I went and took, although I majored in business administration, I had some accounting course I took Then I went to HNR Block, take a tax course. I want to open a tax business. And then when we finish, you're supposed to get a B plus, for them to hire you. And the teacher went and said, you know what? Oh, you make a B plus. Come see me tomorrow in my office. I said, come see you tomorrow in your office for what? Oh, I want to give you a job. I said, no, teacher, I want to hire you. He said, how are you going to hire me? I said, well, I want you to become my coach. I'm going to open an office of accounting. You, my coach, you come from time to time. You give me the skill that I want. As I build my business, I will pay you on the side. Start from the scratch. Right now in Oakland Park, can you imagine a black man wants to go in business? They don't have no credit. They don't have no money saving. They living paycheck to paycheck. I think it would be a good thing. It would be a good thing to bring some money, some grant money for the business, and also bring some grant money for the residents, the people who own houses. They can repair them, their roof, their door, and things of that nature, and make them better in a sense. I think we need to invest in our people.
Isn't that what the Small Business Administration is for, though? The Small Business Administration, isn't it there to assist people who have business ideas that want to open them, and they're affiliated with certain organizations, certain lending institutions that loan to small businesses but they make different credit considerations.
You're right. That's exactly right. But that's what I'm telling you. Somebody who wants to start from scratch, maybe don't have a good credit score, and it's still tough, to be honest with you.
Would these grants be merit based?
Those grants, sometimes you don't have to pay back. You don't have to pay back. But right now,
well, not payback, but I'm just saying, what would be the criteria? Would it be merit based? Would it be,
the criteria will be you go in business. They're looking for black business who register, home repair. They will need a business owner who's legally registered in Tallahassee, and you're in good standing, and you're doing something legal. But then again, there has other criteria. I mean, is the business you're doing is legit? Is it had the potential to grow? All these things come into play. So I think we need to do that. And also working with the now business, with the current business, and how we can improve them. Find them grants to help them expand. Maybe, some company right now in Oakland, they function, but it's one person working. They cannot afford to pay an employee and things of that nature. There's a lot to do. I'm sure with the economic development, they try to, with the development, they reinvent the city and so forth and so on. But people need to make more money. We need to make more money.
No, I totally agree, because I have jobs now, but I've been a small business owner for like a very long time. And one of the things I've had is issues with like keeping and maintaining employees, because sometimes business is good and then you can pay them, and then when it slows down, it seems like you're working to pay everybody else, right? Like, oh, you're working, you're making money, and all of it is going out because there's because you're just trying to keep it going, and it sounds like it's making sense because you having this revenue come in, but you're not really making any profit from it, because literally all the money is going out, either paying salaries, paying rent space, paying, for copies, and, all of these
overheads.
It's all like overhead costs. So that is something that's important. And then the other thing too is that, you have people who go into business and they don't really understand like what a business is. They don't understand like growth. They don't understand that you're supposed to do this to try to build it into something more. People just like, well, it's paying all my bills and I don't got to go to nobody's job and ask them when can I go on vacation, and they're satisfied with that. And that's part of that. Some of that can be the mentality that some small business owners have, because they're not thinking about it in terms of the growth potential. So maybe something that you guys can do is provide education on like what really business is and what the goal of any,
especially on the marketing side. I'm also a radio host, and I'm been in contact with some business, small business. And one thing usually they don't have is anything to do marketing. And then marketing is the lifeblood of a business. Without marketing, you cannot bring your old client back, or you can get new client. And usually small business owner usually fail to have a marketing plan, I think, which is very important. Talking about the education side you just mentioned earlier, I think is at utmost important to integrate that into a plan for the community at large to help them bring them out of that hole that they are right now.
Yeah, that's important because my marketing plan was word of mouth, right? And then when the word is like people mad at you, that hurts you, right? So like
Yeah.
when it's good is good, and when it's bad is bad. You know what I mean? So you definitely have to have other ways in terms of getting business as opposed to just strictly on referrals. Even
Right.
the referrals are good, but that
Yeah.
can't be the only way that you get your business, and that
That's
becomes
right.
an
That's
issue.
right.
I mean, and yeah, and it got to the point where my business felt like a foundation. So
Okay.
I was like, this is no longer profitable. It seems like I'm doing service right now, you know?
Yeah, you
And
reach your plateau, right?
yeah,
It's like,
it was like a foundation. And then the other thing that I think will be important, and I don't know if this is something that you want to do, is maybe help folks get grants, right? In order to just kind of in those low moments help them be able to maintain the business, because it is a service that's needed. You just got to get past that. If that's something that the city would offer, or would that have to be in conjunction with a federal program?
The city will work, with different organizations and find out and where those different federal grants, that will fit different business categories, so forth and so on. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So switching gears a little bit, Dr. Maxime, infrastructure. In terms of Oakland Park, how, there's some cities, we had some other candidates, sometimes they got some drainage issues, potholes in the wall, on the road. But let's talk a little bit about Oakland Park and its infrastructure. And now we know that the federal government passed the bill, and we know that, certain states are getting money. I'm not sure that our governor has participated. I know we've been having an issue where that is concerned in terms of getting funds. This governor refuses to do what's right by people in Florida, but I digress. What is your goals, your thoughts for?
Well, the idea is to look at the roads that are not fixed. We need to fix them, that have a hole on them. We need to stop the high rate of accidents, for instance. The other day, I was knocking doors in the neighborhood of 21st Avenue and Prospect, going west, travel west to Commercial on Prospect. And I met this gentleman, this resident in that area. He said, you know what? Traffic is very slow there. Do you know the speed limit was like around like 40? Now they reduce it to 25. They think this is a problem, and then they have issues right now currently with the city. There was area, I don't know why they're doing that. They're reducing this line, like line that was like, let's say for instance there was two line. I think they were talking about 44th Street.
So there's two lanes currently.
Yeah, they were reducing it to one. I mean, people. I was at the city meeting. People get very upset. The resident that live around there, they say, no. Why they doing it? This is not going to be good. Right now, traffic is already congested. Then that's why it's important to have monthly meetings with those residents, to speak with them, to know what their concerns are, so we can take them at face value, so we can accommodate and meet whatever they need to be done. But we need to discuss with them. We need to build the community, not divided it. And I think
sorry, not to interrupt you, Dr. Maxime, but you would think the present county commissioners would have asked the resident what their position was on that issue before they did it, right? But then even after they heard them, if it was something that needed to be done, they should have at least explained it to the residents about, okay, we understand that this may cause some congestion, but here is the reason why we're doing this, and let them know what the benefit is to their community, right? Because
I think
sometimes
they're
the
doing
city has
that.
to do things.
I was at the meeting. I think they present their position and then they let the resident spoke, but somewhere along the line, I'm not really sure why they went forward with it. I need to find more information. Maybe they have a good reason for it, but I can anticipate that the people was not happy.
So at least I understand. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but at least people should have been able to articulate why. It's not the reason should have been told to them why. We understand your concerns, but this is why we have to go forward, right? And somebody should have been able to say that.
Probably did. He said they probably did give a reason, but he doesn't. He's not sure what the reason was.
But I think the comment started off like he was speaking to people there, and they were complaining about it. So I wanted to know the people who were complaining, were they at that meeting and heard the reason? And this one
I give you two things here. I give you two things. First, one was the 44 street where they reduced the line. The other one was the speed. So right now the speed is still at the lower level, and the reason I think this is what I suggested to him. I said maybe there's a new construction on Prospect with the port. They building some new condo and single family house over there. Maybe since this has become a bigger residential area, maybe that's why they reduced the speed limit, but slow everything else. And then this
that would make sense. I mean, we don't want people driving 40 miles an hour through a residential street.
Well, that's the reason why. But and it must be maybe they're getting from work late in the afternoon, 5 o'clock. Maybe it took them 2 hours to get in their home. Maybe that's why they have so much concern. But I told him I will present it. Once I get elected, I can do more. But I was at the meeting. At least I expressed the desire that they have about that.
All right.
Okay. So for infrastructure, is Oakland Park participating in getting funds from the state of Florida in terms of, and then if they are, where are those? Has the current commission allocated funds to different areas in Oakland Park?
Well, I see their business plan. Their business plan projection for 2023, which is equal to $67 million. I'm sure they allocate money for that. The last time I was there, I see the captain of the sheriff department came and spoke. Also, I see that they increase. They had 2 supervisors at the firefighter department. They increased it to 9. So more money is coming. But the other aspect I saw in the budget was a 10% increase.
Excuse me. Did you just say like the Oakland Park Fire Department has 9 supervisors?
That's what 9 supervisors. They had 2 supervisor position. They increased it to, they add like 7 more.
For Oakland Park?
Yeah.
What was the
I don't know,
population of
but
that city?
to be honest with you, I don't know if for the whole Broward.
Oh, that makes a big difference.
That makes a big difference.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
That makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Because you're
the city of Oakland Park or the county of Broward. There's a big difference.
But listen, well, why would the chief of the whole Broward will come at the Oakland Park meeting talking about the whole Fort Lauderdale?
So
wait. So your police chief is BSO. You guys use
BSO? We have a station on Oakland Park. That is different from the main office.
Right, but your police is BSO. That's who. Yes. That's who yours. Okay, all right. So your police.
So what? No, let's be clear. That question is whether or not the city of Oakland Park contracts with BSO for their law enforcement services, or does the city of Oakland Park have their own police department?
That's the question.
Not police department. They have their own. Yeah, their own.
They have their own city of Oakland Park Police Department,
Mm-hmm.
and so they have a police chief.
Okay.
Exactly. And then now they're thinking, I don't know, most of cities doing it. I had a forum last night. One of the questions, are you for or against remove the police force in Oakland Park?
And
because some city thinks that they don't need like a separate one. You know what? I respond that we need it. Can you imagine 44,229 people with the business right now? As I was going out, speak with my neighbor, the business people around there, people will come and break the business, stole the item. And she said to me, you know what? We called the police. They came late to do an investigation. Now they have a station. Can you imagine them without one? That would be crazy. I think we need it. But they're thinking about that. That's not something they want to do now. But some other city are doing it right now.
Okay. All right. Any final questions, co-hosts? Because we did investors, we did developers, we did
city program, police department, the city program,
infrastructure.
City of Oakland Park, it's an old city, so that's why now they're trying to revamp it. It's obviously it's better now. I will give them that credit, but then again, we have a lot of dilapidated houses. No, the roof is going old. People need help.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I'm trying to do myself, I will do is to create, let's say, for instance, you're a senior citizen and you've been living in your house for like 25 years. Social Security right now, people who's on Social Security, the highest money they have is between $800 and $1,400. I mean, the cost of living is going higher, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what about the senior citizen? Maybe do an additional exemption for them. Like the tax exemption. They usually have like 25% or 20%. Why don't I will try to do an extra 25. Instead of 25, maybe it should be 50. On $100,000, they will have 50,000 exemption, so they will pay less taxes.
I know every now and then something similar to that makes the ballot. I think the last time there was something on the ballot. Was it for like veterans or something, like veterans and their family, to give them an additional tax exemption, for the service
on
that
the
they
federal
provided?
level or state?
It was on the ballot for 2020. I believe that it was.
Well, I'm talking local, municipal. I don't think
it was right.
Have it. I think Florida that have it, but not Oakland Park. Yeah.
Right. So those are things that can be ballot initiatives that you can have put on there to get the feedback of the community if that's something they want to do, or maybe it is something that the commission can just vote on themselves.
There you go. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. But it seems like there's a lot of work to be done, particularly surrounded around housing. The issue of whether or not to go with BSO or keep your own police department is not only something that Oakland Park faces, is something that seems to be an issue. Infrastructure, like Narnik talked about, is an issue. Hopefully we will, the state of Florida will get the funds from the federal government, and they will be distributed to all counties.
Exactly.
Because that's another thing. The money can get to the state of Florida, but it may not make it to Broward County for one reason or another.
Whatever reason.
Well, that's what happens. Some of the ethnic groups, sometimes they even, one particular group I was talking about, is a depressing situation right now that they have. The resources is there, but they're not reaching out. They're not receiving it. It seems like there's a little barrier. So the diverse consideration or the diverse residents or group of people that live there, I think somewhat there the disconnect between
That's why
Oakland Park and them.
representation matters. Representation
Exactly.
matters, and that's that's what. And please don't make it seem as though I'm saying that put the man on the county commission, the city commission because he's black. That ain't what I'm saying, because you've already heard that he's qualified. But there are times where you need to have that different voice in the room because it may be something that others haven't considered. And we actually, one of the interviews we did last week, we made some points, and the person was like, I didn't think about that, and that's why, and that just reiterated the point. That diversity in thoughts and mind and looks and all of that is very, very important. So,
especially, I was going to hold to that, but I think I'm going to release it. But to be honest with you, I think we have women first time in the commission, but it's been over 95 years. We never have a Haitian American in the commission in Oakland Park. And I think it's important for people to know that.
And there's a significant
we got a big representation. There's a lot of Caribbean people living in Oakland. And to be honest with you, they have Oktoberfest the last time there. I went there. I didn't see too many of us. And they have some other program not too long ago. I don't recall what was that program was.
Yeah, representation does matter, and bringing people in from all walks of life makes a material difference, especially when you have a diverse community. And you have to make the effort and participate. So that's why we always push, getting participate in voting. Learn your commissioners. We talk to down ballot candidates. Sandra is the one that kind of really birthed this, making sure down ballot candidates get the exposure that they deserve, because these people make decisions for your everyday lives.
All elections are local.
All elections are local. Absolutely.
That's right.
So it is important. And like she said, we're not talking about because it's a black person or it's a Haitian person, but you have to, representation matters. You need to be able to have people who are making decisions representative of the community that they serve, period.
Exactly.
And it's
all walks of life.
Oh, that's right. It's vital.
Everybody inclusive.
That's right. So how can people reach you, Dr. Maxime?
They can reach me. They can check my website. I think I put my website here, www.drkednermaxime.com. And also they can call me, 954-804-3595. They can send me email at info@drkednermaxime.com. And info at drkednermaxime.com is also my Zelle if they would like to donate. And if you listen to this program, you have any questions and you're not sure and you're not decided yet who you want to vote for, 6 people on the ballot. I'm in the 5th position in there. Each person can vote for 2 candidates, but vote me first, please. Vote me first.
What was your phone number again?
954-804-3595. 954-804-3595. And for those who are watching us right now, so we have flyers. It's in English, Creole, and Spanish.
Very good.
So this is it right there. Those are important dates right here. And those are the location. You can go vote right now. SOE at Lauderdale, 1519 Northwest 40th Avenue, Fort Lauderdale Branch Library, 1350 East Sunrise Women's Club at Wilton Manors, and African American Library, Sistrunk. So those are the places you can go early voting. Absentee ballot, they're already there. Make sure you sign them and make sure you certify them. There's a certification in your signatures. Make sure you put the date on. Make a plan, please. Don't just say, oh, I'm going to vote on a, look, something may happen. The flat tires, getting home late, traffic congestion, anything could happen. Make it early. Make it early. Like you were saying early, you can, order one from the supervisor of election to do your absentee ballot, go ahead and vote. Make a difference. Because if you don't do it, somebody else will do it for you. So I
And the
will see
decision
you
they
all.
make you may not like.
Huh?
And the decision that person makes you may not like.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So make sure you
that email is info at.
Yeah, info at.
Sorry.
Dr. Kedner, there you go. Oh yeah, 954-804-3595. Well, I want to thank you, Nikki Grant. You guys was awesome. Sandra Cherfouet.
Merci.
Merci.
Oui.
Je vous en prie, merci.
Hey, listen, still need to talk about, you still need to make sure everybody know that you're the Haitian man on the ballot. You know what I'm saying? Because
oh well. C'est comme ça lié, mais moi Jean lié, c'est comme ça lié. Mes amis après 95 ans, moment arrivé et pour nous rebrasser manger. Gâteau a toujours mal tranché. Cette fois-ci, nous pourrons bien trancher pour sauter avec tranche pour là. Mais ça qui est plus important après 95 ans, ils ont monté chaudière sous nous. Les manger à séparer nous pas joindre. Cette fois-ci, nous avons besoin de mettre un représentant et donc un commissionnaire, docteur Maxime, pour représenter nous valablement de quoi les manger à séparer, les ressources à bail ou qu'à joindre. C'est pas seulement les nous gagnons monde qui en state, dans state là, ou du moins Washington, mais nous besoin de monde local tout. Toute élection locale, dégagez nous, mon Oakland Park, mettez senti nous, non, rien nous. Et puis pour nous sortir, pour nous voter, docteur Kedner Maxime, bonnet, 8 novembre, pour nous mettre sous chaise. C'est
avant 8 novembre, oui, c'est dernier jour. Dernier jour,
c'est dernier jour qu'elle vote. Mais absenti ballot là, commence à faire depuis qu'on y a. Et sous besoin est tout capable de relire. 954 804 35 95. Relire 954 804 35 95. Info à drkednermaxime.com. Mes amis, l'un parler l'autre. Partagez live ça. Shell pour l'arrivée dans route mon faute la surtout dans Oakland Park et pour nous mettre un changement. Et c'est comme ça nous va changer Haïti. Nous va pas changer Haïti sans nous va changer ici non.
C'est vrai.
Parce que c'est ça peuple juif là t'es fait. Peuple juif là, yo te 8, bon Dieu voyez en Égypte. Il y a le prend éducation, il y a le prend formation. Jou bon Dieu délivre yo, laisse ça au cabal parce que tout autant bon ma bonne révélation avec tout ton prophétie. Ouais Haïti gain pour changer. Aucun qui est-ce qui a changé? Nous-mêmes, ça a changé. Haïtien qui si yo. C'est ça, peuple Israël là te fait. C'est pas peuple qui te rete en Israël là changé Israël. C'est ça que te sauté en Égypte yo. Bon Dieu, ba yo force, ba yo courage, li enseigne yo. C'était comme Nadou. Ou par contre dans nos proverbes qui dit l'anti coulève besoin grandi, li rete dans tout. Ou nous-mêmes qui ici là, c'est apprendre n'a pas apprendre pour nous ranger Haïti. C'est ça que fait nous besoin enseigner petit nous. Pour yo sortir à voter, éduquer yo, montrer yo valeur nous, montrer yo sensibilité nous, ba yo pressentiment de valeur pour yo remettre pays et c'est nous-mêmes qui pour aller Haïti pour changer. C'est pas mon Haïti yo pas changer Haïti yo seul non. Nous avons devoir dans ça. Donc mes amis, et changement Haïti a l'en dedans tout haïtien sensible. C'est central Haïti que nous. Mes amis,
commencez à voter en personne.
Commencez à voter en personne.
24 octobre, premier jour, ou qu'à voter en personne.
24 octobre, premier jour. Gen voté par la poste et gen voté pour présent même dans polio. 24 octobre à 6 novembre, ou qu'à voter dans polio. 4, ou après aller dans 6 30 American Library, ou après aller dans Mall 441, ou après aller dans Wilton Mala et ou après aller dans East Sunrise. Boy Anderson School, dans la librairie pour aller voter. Mes amis, toute information, 954 804 35 95.
Dégagez-nous, Oakland Park. Dégagez-nous.
Oakland Park, levez campé. Levez campé, Oakland Park.
I got, this is not only for them, right?
Yeah.
I keep drapeau haïtien là.
Oui, la flotter, mes drapeaux à flotter.
Ok, haïtien, yo. Les arrivés. Les arrivés. Nous pas nous. Sous commission.
Mettez-nous qui parlent langue nous, qui tendent nous, qui capable comprendre nous. Les nous arrivés, nous capables de dire ça, nous voulons dire en créole.
on prend les plus facile.
Mhm.
Moi-même, m'entre ici à 19 ans, m'a parlé anglais, il pas facile pour moi parfois. Cependant, ou amender ou même leurs besoins bagage sont l'autre monde qui là qui sont va le dire.
Yes.
Qui sont va le dire. Et
Yeah.
donc besoin de tout le monde bon. Et
Yes.
ça lié. On fait ensemble Oakland Park, on rebrasser chaudière, on prend un supporter tout candidat haïtien yo à la ronde badé et sorti pour nous mettre docteur Maxime comme commissionnaire. Chers c'est pour nous
nous
décider.
You ne parle lot.
C'est ça.
You
C'est
parle
ça.
lot.
Dégagez-nous. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Have a good
Thank you.
time. Have a good
Bye-bye.
day.
Have a
Good
blessed
luck
day.
with everything.
I love you all, okay?
We love you back.
Too, sir. Have
Thank
a great
you.
evening.
Thank you.
All right.